Ever get that feeling? Like buying or selling property. It's just like slogging through this swamp of paperwork and agents and banks.
Oh, yeah. I know that feeling.
Ugh, it's the worst. But hey, that's what we're diving deep into today. We're going to be talking about blockchain
Okay, yeah.
and how it could like totally revolutionize real estate, like
Mm,
clear a path through all that mess.
sounds good.
So, we did our homework. We listened to this awesome podcast called Token Revolution,
Okay.
and it blew our minds. Tokenization, fractional ownership, secure transactions, like what?
Yeah, that's some pretty powerful stuff.
It is. Okay, so first things first, before we get into the nitty-gritty, can you give us a quick, like, blockchain 101?
Sure.
What is this thing, and why should anyone even care about it when it comes to real estate?
Yeah.
Some people might be like, blockchain, what's that?
Right. Well, so imagine you have this digital ledger, right? And it's not just sitting on one computer, it's copied across a whole network of computers.
Okay, so it's like everyone's got a copy.
Yeah, exactly. It's decentralized. No single person or entity has control over it, which makes it really secure.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
And here's the really cool part. Every single transaction is recorded and linked to the previous one. So it creates this unbreakable chain of information, super transparent, super secure.
That's pretty cool. So in terms of real estate, then, how does that help things?
Okay, well, think about a typical real estate transaction today.
Yeah.
You've got real estate agents, lawyers, banks, title companies. It's a lot of middlemen. And all these intermediaries, they add to the cost and the time it takes to close a deal.
It's such a headache. I mean, it takes forever.
Right, and blockchain can streamline all of that by allowing buyers and sellers to connect directly through what are called decentralized marketplaces.
They'll cut out all those extra people.
Exactly. And then you have smart contracts, which are basically self-executing agreements written into code.
Mm.
And these can handle stuff like escrow payments and property transfers automatically.
So like instead of waiting like weeks for the bank to process the payment,
Right.
it could happen almost instantly.
Exactly. Boom, done. And because every transaction is recorded on the blockchain, it's totally transparent. So buyers and sellers can see exactly what's going on, track the deal's progress in real time.
No more wondering where's that paperwork.
Nope, it's all right there. And that reduces the risk of fraud or disputes, too.
That's amazing.
Oh.
Okay, so the podcast we listened to, they also mentioned tokenized properties.
Right.
What does that even mean? It sounds kind of futuristic.
It kind of is, but it's starting to happen now. Imagine you could take a property and divide it into digital tokens, sort of like shares of a company.
Okay, I'm following.
And then these tokens can be bought and sold on a blockchain platform, which makes it way easier for people to invest in real estate.
So you're saying I wouldn't need like a ton of money to buy a whole building?
Exactly. You could buy a fraction of it. So it opens up real estate investment to a much wider range of people. It creates more liquidity in the market.
That's a game changer. But I imagine there's got to be some roadblocks, right? Like it can't be all smooth sailing.
Oh, yeah, there are definitely challenges.
Like what kind of things are holding this back?
One of the biggest things is regulation. The rules around blockchain and cryptocurrencies are still being figured out.
So governments are still playing catch up.
Pretty much. They're trying to figure out how to classify and regulate these new digital assets. And then, of course, you have pushback from some traditional institutions.
Makes sense. They probably feel a little threatened.
Well, yeah, blockchain has the potential to disrupt their existing business models. But hey, that's progress, right?
Right. But the podcast did highlight some real-world applications that are already happening. So it's not all just talk.
That's right.
What are some of the cool things that are actually happening?
We're seeing these decentralized property marketplaces popping up.
Okay.
People are buying and selling fractional ownership of properties using cryptocurrencies. And some countries are even starting to experiment with land registries that are based on blockchain.
Interesting. Anyone in particular?
Sweden, for example.
Okay.
They've been piloting a blockchain system for registering property titles, which has made the whole process way faster and more accurate.
So less room for errors.
Exactly. It's pretty impressive.
Okay, so this isn't just some futuristic fantasy. This is actually happening now.
It is.
So what does all of this mean for the future of real estate then? I mean, paint us a picture.
Well, I think we're potentially looking at a future where real estate is more accessible, more transparent, and way more liquid.
I like the sound of that.
Blockchain could empower everyday people to invest in properties that they never could have before.
Yeah.
And transactions. They could become faster, cheaper, and more secure. Who wouldn't want that?
That's pretty wild. And it makes me think, if properties are tokenized and traded like stocks, how does that change how we think about owning property in the long run?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's such an exciting and rapidly changing space,
Yeah,
and the possibilities are huge.
it's mind-blowing. Well, thanks for diving deep with us today. It's going to be fascinating to see how this all unfolds.
Absolutely.
Who knows what other industries blockchain will shake up next, right?
Yeah, who knows?
All right, thanks again.
Thanks for having me.